If you've got a voice, then pull up a seat. Real talk drops with every beat. No echo chamber, no disguise. Welcome to the Dead Mic Society.
This is Dan.
This is Cary.
And welcome to Dead Mic Society, man. I am so excited. We have a guest host today. We have Cary. He just got back from a 6-week tour in Europe with the legendary band Biohazard. And, man, that's freaking amazing, bro. So I haven't seen you forever, dude. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and take it away, man.
What's up, man? Yeah, it's been a long time, brother. It's good to see you, man. Yeah, totally. Thanks for having me on here. Yeah, I just been touring. I play guitar for a band called Striking13, and we just did a biggest badass tour that we could imagine with the legends Biohazard and also hardcore legends Sworn Enemy.
Oh, wow.
And so it was just amazing, 15 countries, 20 shows, over like 8,000 miles like of treading that I think my band tracked, and just playing, all these different countries, and running into some other bands. Like Cro-Mags.
Okay.
Got to meet Harley from Cro-Mags. Propane, great band. I'm a huge fan. Death Angel, Violence, Hemlock, some buddies. What's up, Hemlock? And Cutthroat, which I'm repping their shirt today. Those are my homies, and me and Niels, my bro, and we got to get them on the last show, the final show, so that was really cool, and I'm glad that happened, and go out with a bang, yeah, man, and that's kind of where things are going.
All right, man. Well, that is awesome to hear. So let's break it down a little bit for the fans here and the community. We're really a community on Dead Mic Society. We have artists, we have painters, we have musicians, we have chefs. Like, we have all these different people who watch the show and they like kind of the pivot. We talk about all these things. So we have you in the studio. You've been on a world tour. You just talked about the people that you played with. Let's talk a little bit about the fan engagement. So here you are, you're on this tour in another country. You said 15 countries. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how they treat Americans, how they treat metal musicians? Like, how's the food? How's the hospitality? Like, give us a little breakdown. So what was the first country that you were in?
First country I was in, if I can recall it, was Vienna, Austria.
Okay, dope, man.
So I remember that. And yeah, we got to play there, and the fans are insane. I mean, they're amazing. They're such hardcore metal and hardcore fans, and they're very loyal, dedicated to the bands they love, of course. They bring it. I mean, they pit, they circle pit, they mosh. They're there just to have a great time and loosen up, let go of, forget about work, forget about life, outside of the show.
Yeah, man, that's awesome, man. So you kicked butt down there in Vienna, Austria, right? That's dope. And then you traveled to, and you don't have to go through order, man. I know, we're not going to break it down like that. But out of those countries that you were in, was there a particular show that rings out to you that either there's something that happened that you can't say, or there's something that happened that you can say, either with you guys or with Biohazard or any of these other bands that you talked about? Was there any moment that, like, is so powerful that you need to just tell the story?
Oof. Interesting. Well, there's some really they were all great shows. There were some shows where maybe, we connected really well, maybe sold the most merch. Maybe it was the first show I started doing push-ups with Evan from Biohazard at the beginning of the show as like a warm-up for him to go out on stage. And, the guy's super into fitness like me. Mm-hmm. And he's got Full Metal Fitness now. It's a really cool company that kind of promotes metal and fitness. And it just helped me stay on track because I love working out. And he had like 100 push-up challenge, like right before we go on stage.
Nice.
Right before he goes on stage. So I'm like, we're doing it because their theme music, the intro music for Biohazard, great, maybe the best theme intro music I could ever imagine is the Rocky theme song. So, you know, dun, 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 dun. And we're like doing push-ups to it. And I'm just like, oh, this is so like just surreal. This is so perfect, you know, and we're getting amped and everything. And then, and that was Oslo, Norway. I think maybe it was the first show I started doing that with them. And then it just kind of became like a reoccurring thing. Like, hey, man, you're about to go on stage. Just do the push-ups. And then I remember the last show, too, in Manchester, England. We had like 10 people doing push-ups right before he was going to go on stage. You know, it just kind of started accumulating more, you know, like of the other band members and getting, hey, man, you get in here, you know. And even my other guitarist, who he's become more of a workout guy just from this tour, Johnny Law, was like, yeah, man, I'll do them with you. And, you know, and like he started getting more push-ups each time, you know. And so it was like just inspiring people like doing healthy stuff, you know, backstage. So it's a little different than the old days, you know.
Right, but that's cool, man. It's like the world pivoted to more of like a healthy way about it. And I mean, that's actually good for everybody. That's good for like our fans right here on TikTok. It's good for our fans right here on YouTube and all the fans listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the different sites. And it's just interesting how it's intertwined over all this time. Like when we were young, we were playing and just jamming and whatnot. And yeah, people were just having beers and it was just like a whole big party scene. So are you saying that on the road was none? There was not really any partying. There wasn't a lot of groupies. There wasn't a lot of, you know what I'm saying? Like when we think of musicians, we think like you guys are going to go nuts, right? Like, so was there any of that? Or is it just basically like hydration and go to bed early and, you know, high protein, low carbs?
Well, now that you ask, I just didn't mention that part yet, but yeah, so we just didn't bring that up yet. You can totally go the other way. You can, yeah, there's definitely, you know, there's a night where we probably did the push-ups early enough and then, you know, got to the drinks later on in the night. And definitely got there was a lot of fan love.
That's
and,
great, man.
As far as like, you know, it's a little different, but yeah, it was definitely, you know, times where we just let loose, you know.
That's great, man. Yeah.
You know, maybe I got, I don't know, a bottle for the crew or something, and we kind of split it up, you know. And for those that dabble a little bit, you know, such as myself, and you know, what I can say, that's
good. No, you don't got to get into too much detail, man. No, just what you're comfortable with, and then we can pivot into the music for a little bit. You said that the name of the band is Striking13. So tell us a bit about the project. Tell us a little bit about your role in the band, a little bit about how you got there. You can maybe even tell us about your music journey a little bit if you want. I mean, whatever you feel like opening up to the show. You know, there's something.
Yeah. So, I mean, this whole tour was like surreal to me and just like kind of a dream, you know, and I still was probably every night saying like, you know, pinch me, you know, and is this real? Like, what am I doing? Like, how did this happen? You know, and like, I mean, you know, maybe a little bit of imposter syndrome sometimes, but I was just like, this is crazy, you know, because like there's these things. Well, I was probably like, you know, 17 or 18 years old when I was like, you know, really MTV was big, and I was already been playing guitar since I was like 11 years old, and I think I was starting a punk band at the time called Misguided Youth, but I saw, you know, these guys on MTV in a music video that had like wife beaters on, and they were doing like metal meets rap, and it was probably more metal at first, I think, which I'm, of course, talking about Biohazard.
Mm-hmm. A new metal.
And yeah, and there was, I think the song Punishment came out, and I was just like, those guys are fucking cool, you know, and these guys are like hard and they're tough, but their music was just resonating, and it was just heavy. And then, you know, I think the year after that, like Slam came out, a mix of like Biohazard and Onyx, which I was just like this heavy, low guitar tone where I was just, you know, these chords just were hitting, and I'm just like, that's what I want to do. That's who I want to be, you know. So I kind of got my, you know, idol kind of stuff from that. I was like, yeah, I want to wear wife beaters and look gangster and play guitar, you know.
Hell
And
yeah,
so,
man.
and do heavy music, and so, and I was just, you know, enthralled by the mixing of styles, you know, with like metal and maybe a little hip hop, and I was like, I love all those styles. Maybe there's a way that I can actually learn how to kind of, you know, mix those up and write in that direction. And so who knows? I mean, many years later, I end up on stage, you know, with these guys, you know, and like with a band that I, you know, kind of helped form and put together, and just, you know, you could call it like manifesting maybe or something, but I don't think it's 100% like you just were thinking about it and it happened. I think the fact that it's in your mind, maybe you start making those connections and linking those, you know, using your networking skills and such as like when I was with the Chimps, you know, I swear to God, like one time in an interview, they said, what band you want to play with? And I was like, well, when I was with the Chimps, I was like, you know, I'd love to play with Linkin Park, you know, and a year later, the Chimps are on stage, you know, a few bands before, but on the same stage as Linkin Park, you know,
That's
and
awesome.
so it's little things like that that were just like, you know, manifesting what you want to call it, but it was like something with this tour. I started making the connections, you know, and met the right people and got linked, you know, somehow, you know, with the guys from Biohazard and such as Neil from Cutthroat, who I met through the Chimps, and then, you know, introduced me to Billy to produce our music for Striking13, and from there it just led to, you know, more networking, and I think we wrote music that seemed to resonate with people.
Yeah.
And so, you know, definitely these songs, you know, I think had to have some effect where at least it got us to the stage, you know,
Right,
and
definitely.
got us some opportunities. And then it started, you know, with we went to Milwaukee Metal Fest, and then this tour just happened to come up, and kind of right timing and right connections, and just made it happen.
Right. Now, you mentioned that Billy from Biohazard was your producer.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that in an episode, I don't know, maybe it was last week, Sean was on it, Sonic, and we actually were talking about production and the value in having a producer work with you on your music. So from your experience, now you play in a professional band, you've been on a world tour. So does that like resonate with you that like without a producer, none of this would be possible? Or do you think even if there wasn't a producer, it still is possible?
I think that that connection was really important. I think that that I don't think it was possible without that connection, without that production, you know. So I think that's what made it possible. So I think that's what we needed to make the right kind of music that would resonate with people, and also to take our ideas to the next level, and also using that kind of connection to get into that circle, you know, to hopefully work with the right people so we can get those opportunities.
Right. Now, was that your first album with them, or how many albums do you guys have out?
So it's gonna sound crazy, but and sorry I keep sniffling, guys. I got allergies. I don't do cocaine or anything, so I'm just letting you know, like I'm totally I drink a little bit, smoke a little weed, but didn't mean to go off subject there. I'm just summertime gets me, man. So other than that, yeah. So the question was, so we have one song out, and it's called "World Full of Hate." And so we went on this tour with only one music video, one song out. We have 9, I want to say, songs recorded. I don't have to get too detailed, but we did have to switch vocalists basically after a couple years, and we only had the new vocalist for about a year or something, so maybe a little less. And so he came on, he's written new lyrics and put new vocals to the songs. This tour came up and we have not had time to record them. We do have a new song, a new single called Self-Immolation, which, sorry, I had to plug, will be coming out soon. Hopefully, we were working on that over the next few weeks to a month or so. And so we were about to release more music. We just went on this tour. We had one song out, so it got a lot of views. But
Okay, so on the tour, you guys were playing one song, or you guys were playing your set?
on the tour, we're playing a full set. We have the songs.
Got it,
We
got
can
it.
play them live. We just don't. We only have one that's actually released.
Got it, got it,
Yeah.
got it. Well, that's really interesting, man. And you know what? It didn't stop you. You know what I mean? It's like even if there's one out, and also in this day and age, people aren't like buying CDs like they used to. People are streaming music. They're really there for the live experience, and that you guys are showing that energy, and you're coming out there every single night, country after country, and just throwing down. That's really what it's about, man. That's gonna pay way more dividends than even if you had, 40 songs, in your portfolio or whatnot. It's like that's great to build on. You know what I mean? Especially if you want to get into like film, music. Now I know you were doing something with film and acting. Is that something that you're still pursuing, or is that kind of on the back burner now that music is kind of taken, front and forward?
I'm still pursuing that. I got into acting actually because I was trying to get more music work, and I was like, we got some of the TV work back when I was doing the Chimp stuff. We got on some TV shows like Sons of Anarchy and the MTV shows and stuff, and I was like, how can I, Chimps ended up disbanding, and I was like, how could I get more work in like doing music for film and for TV?
Right.
And I had a director friend who kept saying, hey, you want to act in this thing? And so I was trying to kind of network to get some, hopefully, music into projects. And I was like, yeah, I'll act in that thing. And then I kind of liked it, and I took classes for 2 years and started having fun with it. And then so just recently, I got to act in a film with guy Mark Pellegrino, great actor, Supernatural, Big Lebowski, a bunch of stuff, and it's called Two Thieves, and it'll be coming out pretty soon. I don't have a date on that, but I'm helping with the music for that film, so I'm kind of open to do it, but I've always put kind of my music first, and obviously this tour came up, and I was like, everything just went towards getting ready for this tour.
Now, after having this tour and this experience, are you tired? Like, do you feel like you need like, a couple months off? Or if someone calls you and said, hey, we want Striking 13 to come on another tour, would you guys pack up and be ready to roll?
I'd go tomorrow. I'd
That's
go
awesome.
in an hour. That was the big question when we came back was like, what's next? And like we have ideas and plans and kind of, I don't want to say it yet because I can't confirm things, but we have some, ideas and that we're going to work towards and get ready for. We were definitely tired, it was 5 weeks and I was like, I wish this thing would have happened when I was 20, I'm
You look
older
like
now.
you still look like you're young, man.
I still, that's the working out. That's the fitness, the exercise and trying to eat healthy. And I'm older now. I'm about 51. So it's like, but I love it, man. And it's just so much fun. And so we're ready to go. We'll go again. We definitely want to release music right now because that was like what we need to kind of, get something out to the audience and the fans.
Yeah, exactly. They want to be able to basically listen to you 24/7. I happen to know a lot of gamers, for example, right? And they happen to stream the show. And that's one of their biggest things is they like to watch things or have things on, but they also like to have music going. Like even when they're playing their games, they like to have their playlist, and it gets them into the zone, besides having their drinks and having their cozy chairs. Everyone likes to get a vibe. So the more songs that you release, I would say the more happy people in general because they can add it to their playlist when they're, doing whatever schoolwork. We have a whole new season of school coming up for all these listeners who are, finishing up college and whatever. I mean, it's really great, man, to put in that work. Do you think you would have an album out by the end of next summer?
Well, I think what we're doing now is, and I think artists do both things, but I think because we're still kind of considered some newer artists, we're going to be releasing mostly singles. And so I think we're going to stick with singles. So it'll be like, maybe every, I want to say like 6 weeks to 2 months, we're going to try to release a new song. And that's why we got home and like, I'm going back into like writing mode right now, and just like, I need to have more material, and so that's kind of where we're at right now. Yeah.
Okay. And then for the song, you're just playing guitar, or are you writing other parts? Are you just writing guitar parts? Are you writing vocal parts? Are you doing anything else?
I mostly write just the guitar parts. I like to let the vocalist kind of write the lyrics. I think it's great because I like writing that comes from the heart, and I think that I want it to come from my vocalist. And then my drummer is a great producer. Shout out to Brent Terry.
What up, man?
He produced our latest song, and he's also self-immolation, and he's a great writer as well. And he helps kind of like, I think when he's producing, help take some of the ideas and kind of help add some input and some ideas as well. I think he plays a couple instruments like guitar, bass, and stuff. But he's an amazing, phenomenal drummer, and killed it on this tour. And so that helps. And then my bass player has ideas, and then we are working with a guitarist right now, Johnny, a little newer to the project, who can put ideas as well. And so I'm going to see kind of where that goes, And,
Yeah, man.
Whoever I'm very collaborative, and I like to collaborate with people and kind of let people have their input. And stuff.
That's awesome. And that's really what music's about, man. I mean, it's really about having all the different artists come together and put on like a festival or put on a show. And that's why so many bands play on these tours, because they want to give all these different vibes, but their vibes are in a similar genre, but each of them bring their unique style, their unique flair. And that's what the audience goes crazy for. I mean, most people just work. Seriously. They work, every day. And when they get time off from work and they want to go do something and enjoy their life, music touches their heart. I mean, the sound of the drums, getting inside. We have a beat of a drum inside of us. So I would say it resonates with a lot of people. Do you feel that there are any activities that you really enjoy doing outside of music that relaxes you or makes you more amped up? Like, is there something else that you do outside of music that's interesting?
That's actually a big thing. Speaking of the tour, so Jiu Jitsu, which actually, and you asked about like crazy things that happen on the tour. We literally, Billy from Biohazard is a black belt under the Gracies. So, and I hope I'm correct. I believe he got it under Henzo Gracie, but he's worked with everybody, and he's I think a third-degree black belt. And so he's legendary, like just trained, like amazing coach, professor, we usually call it, and literally was getting like one-on-one lessons. Me and the guitarist from Sworn Enemy, Matt Gar, shout out Gar, and we were getting like one-on-one, basically jiu-jitsu lessons almost, because he had a mobile mat and he would bring it out before the shows. It was great. It was amazing because now I got to like train like 2 to 3 times a week while I'm touring. And he'd bring these like black belts and some brown belts from other schools, other dojos, and like from Poland and Italy and Germany and other schools. And it was just like, it was amazing. And so we got to roll with, get their perspective of their moves and everything. And I do have a funny story about that. So I loved rolling and I wanted to take advantage of it so much. And we might have gone like 2 hours one day before our show. And I would just like be able to run on to do a sound check in time. And I think we didn't have a sound check this one show. It's just like going to be a line check because it was like a rushed kind of setup. And I think I had like 15 minutes to get on stage to play.
Oh, wow.
And I'm literally in my gi and I'm sweating. And so I just thought it was funny because I'm like, hey, Billy, I got to go. Like, I think we're going on stage right now, But he's like, nah, one more roll. He was just, I don't know if he was messing with me or what. And I'm just like, all right, let's do it, And then I literally had to go, but I got to change clothes and I got to switch all my gear and make sure my guitar's on. Or if they start that sample song before I get on stage, they're just going to start, because we have a time. We have to go and be on and
Right.
we can't start late. So I'm just like, all right. So I'm like running, throwing my stuff, my backpack backstage in the dressing room. I'm just like, just made it on stage in time, I think, literally to like pick up my guitar.
That's crazy,
And,
man. So
yeah.
you're basically doing jiu-jitsu while you guys are gearing up and you have all the fans waiting. And here you are rolling basically scrapping in the back for fun, and then you're like, dude, I got to get on stage. I mean, that's amazing, bro. And then you ran out there and you made it on time.
Yeah.
So that's sick, man. So you did it perfect. I mean, I don't think anybody really would have that story that they were rolling, fighting, and then they played, man. That's dope, dude.
Yeah. It was like I was sound checking in my gi and like my rash guard and stuff and my belt and stuff. So it's
now,
pretty funny.
do you find that there's any fans though, because they know you do jiu-jitsu and Biohazard does jiu-jitsu? Do they ever want to, get drunk and test the limits and see, what's happening? Like, do you ever run into that?
I'm sure that's happened.
Okay.
It didn't happen on this tour, as far as I know. I would have been down, and I would have loved to use it. And I was hoping there was an opportunity, like, hey man, let me get an arm bar, let me get a choke or something. But
Right. Quick triangle in the back.
yeah, let me do a takedown, double leg, whatever. Is anybody acting up? Anybody we need a smack around? So
Guillotine.
but everybody was so cool, and we had a lot of cool fans and audience, and there's just nobody, probably didn't want to mess with that. And if they know Billy and he's a black belt, like they would, they
Right. Now, do you
careful, but-
find that anyone was like pretentious? Was there anyone who was like, "Oh, I want blue M&Ms"? Like, you always hear this story about a musician who's like really picky about what they have. So they'll say like, only blue M&Ms, and then you have all of the cronies, and they're like opening, 100,000 M&M packs to get the 2 blue M&Ms out, to fill the gauntlet. You know what I mean? Did you have anything like that? I know I'm exaggerating, but is there anyone who like only eats beef jerky, before they go on, or someone who needs to sleep? Like, did you guys sleep in hotels, or did you sleep on a tour bus, or did you guys camp?
So we actually, to answer the first question, I don't think there was any thing like that on this tour. These are all very kind of tough and rugged band members, and so if there was anything like that, I didn't catch it. But it was definitely, everybody was so cool on this tour. All the band members, and they all kind of just, live for this grind. So and can pretty much handle anything, and very cool to everybody in the crew. And then the second thing was, so we didn't tour on a bus. Biohazard and Sworn Enemy toured on a bus, and basically we toured in a van because there wasn't a bus. We didn't have a room for a bus, so
like a sprinter van or something?
it was kind of like a Sprinter, a little smaller than that. So we can't sleep on it. So we had to do the hotels, and that was a debate. It's an interesting debate. You either do the bus and you can sleep on the bus, which is better in that sense, because then they drive to the next country like overnight, and you can just sleep, and you don't have to get up, and you don't have to throw your stuff in a hotel. But then the benefit of the van is you get the hotels.
Take a shower and
the bus, they got to probably shower at the venues a lot, or like gyms or something like that. But most of the venues all had showers. But the van, we shower at the hotel. We might have to get up early though, because we might have like only 6 hours of sleep or something, because we got to leave to get to the next country that morning. So, and it was very small and tight in that van and a little cramped at times. And that's a story. There's one. Yeah. So there was definitely a torturous ride home, or ride back, I should say, from Manchester, England to Prague, because we had to return the van. Supposedly, Billy told us later he might have been able to hire a driver or something, but which not a bad idea for the future. But we already had a plan to drive back to Prague, and that was like a 24-hour whole thing, because we even had to get on a ferry for 2 hours with the van, and then so that was the only time we actually got off the van. But that was literally from 1 a.m. at night. We went till 1 a.m. the next day, like in a cramped van for like 24 hours. And I'm just like, yeah, that was tough. And then fly home, however many hours it is from Prague, Prague actually, back to LA. And that's, I think it was like 12, 13 hours, something like that. And so that on top of that, so it was just like no rest, I mean, it was rest, but in not comfortable situations to get home.
Right. Now, you were saying you were staying at hotels, and I know that a lot of the fans that we have who listen to the show, they're avid travelers, and they travel a lot. And one thing that I know that fans love about hotels is they love continental breakfast. Is there a continental breakfast at the hotels you're at? And if so, how does it differ or different from American continental breakfast?
So we actually call that yellows, and shout out to Johnny, my other guitarist. His nickname for breakfast was Yellows. I can't remember the story where that came from, but are we getting yellows the next day? And if that's a proper sounding sentence. And so it was, in my opinion, it's better in Europe. It was just, I mean, it's not all continental. It was like sometimes, crepes and croissants and just already pre-made waffles or just yogurts and oatmeals and different types of cereals and all types of meats, eggs, sausages, bacon, everything. So it's definitely hot cooked and really good stuff, and juices, multivitamin juices and all kinds of stuff. So
nice, man. Sounds
really
like you
good.
guys had good breakfast.
Yeah.
And then after playing your show, did you guys have time to go check out, like, when I think of Europe, I think of like these European pubs. I think of like, these fish and chips. I think of like all these like traditional, bangers and mash and, all this stuff. Did you take advantage of any of the cuisine from these places that you're at? You said 15 or so countries. Is there anything that really stood out? Did you try the speckle? Like, is there something,
Yeah, I mean, got fish and chips was definitely UK. I want to say that's their thing a little bit, and there was what was really good. I mean, I always love Italy food because the pasta is unlike American pasta. It's a little less processed. It's not processed. It's cooked in good water. It's thick noodles and the pizza's obviously great and gelato.
Nice.
And so Italy food is one of my favorites, but there was definitely Germany. I want to say, was it Hamburg? Yeah, we went to a top chef. His first name is Tim, and I'm gonna forget his last name right now, unless I have it in front of me. But he was a head chef, and his restaurant was amazing. And I'd love to give a shout out to the restaurant. I'll have to give it to you later.
No big deal, man. What up, Tim?
Yeah. What up, man? And so, other than that food was amazing. Germany food. I just can't remember what it was exactly.
But was it a meat? Was it like chicken, fish?
There's chicken. There's steaks and filet mignons and like vegetables along with that, and then some kind of dessert always, and maybe God, where else?
Are you a wine drinker? Did they bring out the wine? Did they bring out the Riesling? Did they bring out any of the Malbecs? Like any of these like French wines or famous wines? Like I know German Riesling is like really famous. If not, it's all good, man. I'm throwing it out there because I know there's a lot of sommeliers who actually watch our show.
There was a little wine. There was definitely some hard liquor stuff, and I won't remember the name of it because I'm not a big drinker. But it was
it's like vodka.
It was really good. Yeah, and there's mixes. And I bought whiskeys for my other guitarist sometimes, which we dabble. But that's it. Yeah. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's pivot a little bit. It sounds like the tour was great. Shout out to Biohazard. I've always been a huge fan. Cary used to jam with us with my band Max. Everyone knows Max. Cary and we used to jam. And I hope one day to share a stage with you, man. I hope Max can join you guys, even on just a local show or maybe even something for a charity or like a battle of the bands, something for fun. It would be great someday. But I wanted to ask you a little bit about California. And I know it gets a little bit touchy. We don't have to get too political. But you are a Californian. You've always been. How do you feel about what's happening in California? Like ever since, the pandemic and the fires and the different things, like do you have a stance? Do you think California needs change or do you think California is good how it is? Like, is there any personal perspective you have? And if not, it's cool too.
Yeah, so it's funny. The tour and the music kind of got me away from all the news and politics and stuff. And but I still have my opinions and I have my ideas. And I grew up Los Angeles, LA, and however we say it, my whole life. So yeah, I'm definitely noticed change, and if it's from me, yeah, my opinion, there was definitely things that I noticed that changed from when I was young. I mean,
Like, are you happy with the government? Are you happy with the mayor? Are you happy with Newsom? Are you happy with Karen Bass? Like, are you happy with these figures? Or do you think we need to change it? Or again, maybe we want to change the subject too. I don't want to push you in a direction you don't want to go. I was just curious because we had Nick on the show. So Nick was basically saying that, and I'm paraphrasing. I know we have a lot of fact checkers. Remember, this show, we say things that are maybe a little bit off, but we mean, we'll correct it later, basically is what I'm trying to say. So he is a liberal who then turned into a right wing because of the politics. So he transformed based on that. And I just wanted to see, because we're kind of in this like niche group of people who actually are from LA. And there's a lot of people who watch the show who aren't from LA or from California. Does your perspective go like, we're doing the best we can and you're happy with the management of the state? Or does your opinion go, hey, California has all of these resources, how do we mess this up? Like, which side are you on?
So it's interesting. I can relate to that a little bit, and I like to be honest about my stance on things, when it comes to politics. I grew up, I was probably raised like a Democrat liberal, and my parents were more that way, even though we voted for Reagan, so I guess that doesn't make 100% sense. But
the 90s, you had Clinton.
Right, but then we went that way. Right. And then I veered towards the right when I got older, and there were some policies on the right that I appreciated and I liked. But now I've kind of pulled back. I'm just more apolitical these days. So I don't want to say I'm left or right anymore. And
so you're like the middle ground.
I'm kind of middle ground, and there's things I might want to pull from both sides that I appreciate. Okay. And I'm more about the people and and caring about everybody, that we all kind of have our opportunities. But when it comes back to California, we need to cut down on crime. We need to clean up. There's a homeless epidemic. We need to clean that up. There's a drug epidemic that resonates with me, because if anybody haven't mentioned yet, that when I'm not doing music or touring, I work as a drug and alcohol counselor. So I'm in that field now. So the biggest threat is fentanyl. And I have an extreme, passion for helping people to get off of it, and hopefully and a desire that we could clean that up in America, in general. And
let's talk about that for 1 second.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of listeners. We have right now people on TikTok watching, and there are people who are addicted to fentanyl, and they're addicted to these very powerful substances. Okay. So we're going to just give advice, but again, we're not telling you what to do. Always seek like your healthcare provider, talk to your doctor. We're just having a conversation. But if you were going to say a suggestion, just something that you would suggest for anyone for having an addiction problem to fentanyl specifically, what would be like one or two or however many things that they should do to try to get off of it? Like as a professional, what would you tell them? Because there are people who struggle with it, who watch the show. There are also people who struggle with depression, and we've had an episode about that, and we've given out the phone numbers for that. So what would be the resource, or what would you tell the audience if you were just going to give advice like you'd give to yourself as we're having a conversation? What would you suggest?
So, not to be light about it, but my supervisors would laugh at me because I'd always say, "Oh, Jiu Jitsu is a cure," and and I don't mean that necessarily to be funny. It's actually what did it for me, transformed me from kind of being lost in life, after the chimps and after some music things didn't work out. I do push physical exercise and transforming yourself into something healthy. Jiu-jitsu is what started it for me, and then I got more back into weights and cardio and eating healthy and kind of just transformed and being a better person and hanging out with more successful people. That was kind of, just vibing off of,
Oh, so change your friend network. So maybe the people around you are escalating that behavior because I guess there was a saying that you turn into your 3 closest friends. So maybe it's accurate in the fentanyl world as well, that if you hang around 3 people who are using illicit drugs, that then you start to want to use them more. Would you say that might be the case and it's better to change your circle and, like you said, get into a fitness circle or get into a jiu-jitsu circle or get into another thing? Maybe they don't want to fight. Maybe they want to cook, right? Get into a cooking class or cooking circle.
Yeah, so obviously most people know you can't, they have to want it. They have to have the desire. You can't force someone even to go to treatment. And I have friends still that, either suffering on the suffering end or recovered. And most of the time they got to hit rock bottom. Most of the time they got to lose their house. They got to lose their family. They got to, this is their last chance. They're going to die,
Oh, wow.
and,
Yeah, heavy.
so but there's maybe baby steps that you can incorporate before, going all in, and just going, just go straight to treatment. Cause that might not, work. They got to want it. They got to go there, unless they're, have to go for criminal reasons or something, but, maybe baby steps, maybe can you just try this free jiu-jitsu class? Can you go to the gym with me one time? Can we stop this,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, finish what you're saying. I'm sorry about that.
I just, it's, the one thing about, but it is serious stuff, like when it comes to like fentanyl, and the saddest thing to me is, you get a 20-year-old or 21-year-old, that's just ruining their body or their health, and they are going to die if they continue that way. So I would hope that most of the ones I see, that usually it's something where like that is the rock bottom, that they're going to die if they don't, change. So it might not be baby steps. It might be they need everything.
Right. Now I'm thinking in the world of apps, because we're in like this world of apps. Like we have TikTok here, we have YouTube here, we have Spotify there, and so on and so on and so forth. Is there maybe a way to make an app that rewards good behavior? Like I've seen an app for people who want to diet, right? And they go, if you hit your goal, we'll give you X amount of dollars, right? Is there a way to maybe create these apps where it's like, hey, you're getting the treatment you want, and you do a drug test and it sends the report to the app, and then the app gives you a credit. Maybe something like that would reward this good behavior. You know what I'm saying?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I haven't heard of anything like that yet. I do know there's an app to find meetings, like AA meetings and stuff. But what you're talking about sounds really cool.
Yeah, I just think it would reward the bad behavior. So you go like, well, what's your concern? Most of these people say, well, I stay on drugs because I don't have money. And when I'm in these circles, we figure it out, because you get drugs and then you sell drugs and then, you get by. You guys eat together or whatever it is. So I'm just saying, to start to reward these individuals who start to climb a different mountain, and you go, hey, look, reach your first step, reach your second step, but when you get to that 1,000th step, there's $1,000 for you, or whatever it is, right? Because that would motivate people. And sure, there would be scammers. There would always be people who go to the lowest level. But even if just a few of the people were actually saved, I mean, one human life is priceless.
Yeah.
Right?
Rewards are great. You made me think of something though. So when it comes to California, I hear this thing that, we sometimes give them needles, or we give them, places to do drugs or something. And I don't agree with that method at all. Right. So healthy rewards are great, but anything that's a bad reward like that, which it's not, I guess, a reward, but it's something to help them do drugs safely. I don't agree with that. I think we need to eliminate that totally.
It's like narco or something.
Yeah. Well, Suboxone is a big thing that they use in the treatments, but that's okay because that's trying to get them to be able to handle their detox symptoms and their withdrawal symptoms, and they can actually taper off of as well, such as we give them like Ativan and stuff like that, a benzo, but not to stay on. But I don't think aiding them to do their drugs is a good idea, and I always thought that was a horrible idea. And I know it comes down to the war on drugs. I mean, we can make things illegal all we want, but doesn't mean it's going to stop, because there's always a black market, and so same with like, guns or anything. There's always a black market, there's,
Right.
You can't just take them away and they're going to disappear.
Do you think going after the cartel? Because I've seen reports that the government has taken a position that we will find the bad guys and we'll get rid of them. Do you think that is a way to solve a problem if they actually send the military to go after the higher ups and these organizations that just seem like so huge in my mind? They seem like they're their own military, really, and they run everything.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough battle, That's like because there's so much corruption. I mean, as we know, like in all the cartel areas in South America and everything. I mean, there's so much corruption with the military and the police, and so how are we gonna stop all of that, and without causing a war or maybe people dying and stuff. So it's been such a tough battle. I wish I knew a great answer for that, and I wish we could. We can only, obviously, what they continue to do is try to just cut down on it. But I think that's when it comes back to we might not be able to stop the drugs from existing, but we can try to stop the people from wanting to go use the drugs. And that's where it comes down to, again, more treatment centers. Treatment centers can be great, good treatment centers. More encouragement towards, also, this is something, the government, which we've been talking about for a while, not pushing prescriptions so much, but pushing more fitness and exercise and physical activity and healthy.
You're saying like doctors?
Yeah, and that's where I've always been in a battle with big pharma, like because we treat clients with prescription meds, and it's okay for temporary use sometimes. And I think some people might have schizophrenia where they need it or something, more serious illness. But I hope we just don't overtreat with prescription drugs. And I think that's where I really talk about physical exercise and try to get someone to go do a jiu-jitsu class, go do yoga, go, get to the gym. I mean, there's a lot of healthier ways. And I try to be, open-minded to both sides of it. Some people feel prescription pills are the way. I'm a little more towards like temporary use, okay, but you need to still do healthy habits, and there's a lot of that which you can learn about online and a lot about, you can watch YouTube videos all the time to kind of get routines and stuff. And that's really what I try to push. And I think we can still emphasize that more overall in America, and the government could, and I think that would help.
Is this like holistic medicine you're talking about?
I'm just talking about like the gym, and getting to go and do fitness and exercise and healthy eating, and not fast food, and which even fast food companies are trying to be open more to healthy types of food. But it's we do that a little bit, but I know there's money in prescriptions, and that's where I don't, the bad part of big pharma and things like that. But there's also, if there's not enough money in fitness for the government, they probably won't advertise it as much, but I think it needs to be pushed more, and that's where we can help more, just overall healthy habits,
Now, yeah, that sounds like really good to get into healthy habits, and I hope the people watching on TikTok and the people watching on YouTube and the fans of Dead Mike Society really listen to what Cary's saying. He's saying go out there and get some exercise. And if you're feeling stressed out, instead of taking an anxiety pill or whatnot, get sweat a little bit. That will bring you down, or get on the pads and box or whatever it is. Some kind of, it seems like physical activity may bring you to the mood stabilizer that you're seeking. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. We get so complacent where we just want to have a bag of chips and chocolate sundae. And then it's like, after that, we're lethargic, right? We don't want to do anything, but now we're moody, right? We have a sugar crash later. I'm kind of hungry, right? And then it's like everything annoys you. So if you can get your your endorphins and all of your things working and getting on the right level where you have that hydration and you have the right proteins and you have the right amount of carbs and sugar in you, and you're not really just dealing with like high fat and high saturated sugars, and I'm sure there's a million other things in there, but you see what I'm saying? That would maybe help people to get in the right direction. But I did want to ask you a little bit about relationships. I don't think your status is known. Are you married? Do you date? Like, what is your situation? And tell us a little bit about your personal life.
Yeah, I'm currently married to a woman named Maricel, or she goes by Lizelle. Hey, babe. How you doing out there? So we've been married 10 years and have a 10-year anniversary coming up. I don't know what we're doing. Vegas, something we'll figure it out.
All right.
Trying to plan it right now. But other than that...
now, did she go on tour with you?
No. I kind of thought about that. We thought about maybe the last week we were going to try that. But she... no, she works a lot. And then it was like, should we pay for this? And, kind of thing. And would she be comfortable? Because actually, I think... we'd have enough room in that van. And she would have been squeezing. Yeah, so...
Is she a big metalhead?
She is rock and some metal and my stuff, yeah, because I guess she supports me, but some, yeah. So she's liked it more since I got her into it, yeah. So.
That's awesome, man. And you guys have kids?
No kids yet. It's always been... possibly in the works, so we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're blushing. I'm sorry, man. I got you blushing.
God's hands. Yeah.
You know what it is? I just want the fans to know all about Cary. You know what I mean? And all about Striking 13. That's interesting. I always think Strike 13, and it's Striking 13?
It's Striking 13. My bass player, I think, helped come up with that name. It's some people ask. It's like so George Orwell, his book 1984. The first chapter talks about the clocks. I believe it's the clock striking 13. And so, it's about his totalitarianism books, stuff
But what
like
does that mean? Is that like 1 o'clock? Like, what time is 13? Or what is the metaphor of 13? And I'm sorry that I'm asking that because everyone's laughing at me. What is the 13?
I gotta read that. Read that chapter again.
Then don't worry about
it. It's a cool number. So I'd probably be better than striking 12 or something.
Yeah, I mean it's my lucky number. I
Yeah.
like 13. So I'll ask the fans this: if you know what Cary was talking about there and what the clock hitting 13 even means, I'm guessing it's a doomsday thing. Like just from the top of my head, maybe when it hits 13, that's it, lights out for the world, right? Maybe it's something like that. But yeah, put it in the comments. Also, fire into the comments what you think about the show. If you're enjoying the show, give a shout out to Cary, and please try to find that one song. How would they find that song from Striking 13?
So that song is World Full of Hate. It's on YouTube. It's on Spotify, all the streaming channels, and it's been out a little while.
Okay, and then if they like that and they want to book you, so let's say they want to book you for a show, or they want you to, talk to them about a tour, have your manager talk to their manager and do lunch or whatever it is there a way, like a social media? Is there like an X, or is there like a TikTok or an Instagram? Is there something so that if there's a producer or someone watching the show who goes, hey, we need to check out this band, right? How do they reach you? Like, not your phone number, but you know what I'm saying. Like, is there a...
Striking 13 LA is our Instagram and all our socials.
Dope. That's perfect. So at Striking 13 LA?
Yeah.
Perfect. So that's the way to find them on Instagram. And, man, I'll say it's a real pleasure to have you on the show and to hear about the world tour. And I still can't believe you were with freaking Biohazard, man. I mean, I was like the biggest fan of Biohazard growing up. And I just remember you could listen to the album from the beginning to the end. It was one of those where you didn't have to skip a track, where every track was a banger.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of artists. When I think of artists like that, I think of like Cypress Hill. Also, they had a banger, like from the beginning to the end, where it's like every track is great,
Yeah.
So it's amazing that you did that. You did a push-up challenge. with Billy from Biohazard. You did Jiu Jitsu with Billy from Biohazard. Is there anything else? Like you said, he was your producer. Is he easy in the studio? Is he have a lot of great ideas?
Yeah, and just shout out, Evan was the push-up guy, and then Billy was also, he does push-ups, but he does the jujitsu.
Evan, I'm
but
sorry.
It's all good. And then he's a great producer. He was amazing in the studio, and great ideas. And I mean, also just to shout out Biohazard's latest album, Divided We Fall. It's an amazing album. Just want to give that out because mention that. I'm sure everybody knows out there. That was on their set a lot, and they just had the best set and the most entertaining set. And so their last album was just amazing. So great writer still, great producer. And also Sworn Enemy, amazing set. Those guys live, man, just killed it, murdered it. And our band got inspired just by listening to these bands on, tour. And
did you have roadies, or you guys just carried your own gear? Do you have endorsements, or are you looking for endorsements?
we always will be open to endorsements. My drummer has a few endorsements. I still have Schecter guitars, and that's really all right now. But I use other products that I would like to get endorsed by them. Talon Electronics, maybe.
I'll trade you that guitar for a 7-string.
Fender. Okay, I don't have a 7-string right now. I sold my last one, but and then I'm looking to other endorsements. We're always down for that, and we didn't have we were our own roadies and our own techs on this tour, which is totally.
It's humble.
Cool and
it's a humble tour.
It's humble, and it was a that's kind of the level we're at, but we're open to even tech and help other bands on tour as well if it helps us get on a bus or get
why not all work together. So now I wanted to play a little game with you. So I'm going to ask a question, and it's kind of like a rapid fire. I ask a question, you give me the first answer that pops in your head, and we'll just do this for a minute, okay? So. Best country.
Italy.
Worst hotel.
I can't remember the name of that hotel. It was probably one that the AC didn't work. It was
one. There's a few of those.
Could have been Novotel or
the ice
one of the bad Holiday Inns, but Holiday Inn had pretty good ones.
Best crowd.
I got to pick one. That's a hard one. They were all awesome. I'll just say, also Norway was amazing. Southampton was amazing. Germany, Hamburg was amazing. I mean, I can't eliminate, but I mean, they're all amazing. But those were very,
How about craziest fan?
Craziest fan? Very couple crazy fans that were very in the pit and moshing the whole time and down to get on stage and
they're just like throwing them off.
Yeah, and fun to hang out with, and give you free alcohol and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, worst food.
Worst food. What was that place? What was it? Those beefies that you buy at the gas stations. They're like, I thought they were going to be good, and it tasted like a warm pocket, not even a hot pocket.
Oh my God. Most dangerous moment.
Most dangerous moment was, that's an interesting question. Maybe the Swiss Alps when we went hiking, and I was trying to go back up, and we were getting tired. I don't think it was dangerous necessarily, but
you could just say it was.
Yeah, all right, it was.
It's okay.
Yeah, I was running out of breath getting back up the hill we were hiking.
Oh, there's just a few more. Biggest argument.
Sorry. Oh, that happened on tour?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't with me, so I can't really talk about it.
Okay.
But if it was any with me, I kind of just chill out when people start to argue. But
okay.
Yeah.
A city you'd never return to.
I mean, I'd return to all of them.
Okay.
Maybe, God, I can't think of any. Sorry.
City you'd move to tomorrow.
Italy, anywhere. So that's not a city.
It's
so
okay. So
let's say
Napoli.
probably Florence or Tuscany.
Oh yeah. Get some good pizza there.
Yeah.
Okay, craziest thing that Biohazard did.
Craziest thing that Biohazard did. What's the craziest
Did they
thing?
shoot off machine guns? Like, did they light off fireworks? Did they, streak and jump into the crowd? The craziest thing they did: backflips, fire.
Craziest thing they did.
Craziest thing Biohazard did.
I'd say probably, God, what's the craziest thing? I mean, Billy jumps and gets carried into the crowd all the time. That's just a normal thing for him. And hangs off of things and all kinds of stunts and everything. I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to think of a good one. Craziest thing. Maybe a fan got pushed by accident or something back into the audience too hard or something.
Right.
You know, I don't know. Maybe because
Okay.
they were running out.
Did
around
anyone
wild.
almost get arrested?
Almost get arrested. Oh, nah. There was like a security guy, kind of little possible fight starting.
Okay, so-
Because the guy didn't recognize someone trying to get through the barrier.
I love those answers, Cary, and we're going to do a couple more questions, but these are going to be different. These are going to be basically the Biohazard questions because a lot of fans of Biohazard are watching the show, and I have to ask these questions because this is what the fans want. What's it really like touring with Biohazard?
Amazing as in far as like a learning experience. I mean, there was closer to the end of the tour, Billy, these guys are so legendary, like knowing how to tour that Billy even like fixed our sound near the end, like a whole show sound, like just with some suggestions that him and even Sworn Enemy came up with. But Billy, like, this was something he was thinking about. Fixed our sound like for the last shows, and it like went up 10 times, and
It's dope.
and just like so. But these guys just are generally, they know how to work with fans. They know how to put on a show. They know how to interact with all the band members, and they are always like kind of positive and Sworn Enemy, same thing as well. But I know these are Biohazard questions, but they are also very professional and just amazing. Like the things they know, they just know how to tour.
That's awesome, man. Okay, what's something about Biohazard you can't tell us? Is there any little secret or something that just for the Dead Mike Society and TikTok community, is there anything you can't tell us that, we would like to hear?
God, something I can't tell you. But then I'd be telling you, right?
Right.
So, so that would be kind of going against that. I can't think of anything, and I'm wondering if I could, would I say it? But anything, I mean,
Nothing like they're vegans or there's, just some kind of, secret. It's more playful.
I mean, it's like there's certain people eat certain things, and have certain diets and work out a certain way and need to eat these every day or something, these special protein bars or whatever it is.
All right, let me give you an easy one now.
Yeah.
That's fine. Did you learn anything from watching them perform?
So much, man. I mean, that's a list. That's how to move on stage, how to interact with the crowd. Crowd interaction is huge. How to talk to them, how to keep letting music ring out so you don't have dead air. How to be prepared when something does go wrong, if something does. And also just how to, perform from beginning to end and how to be prepared to get on stage and kind of be organized. But like, we just did something simple, like started, putting our fists up in the air and getting the crowd to interact, going, hey, during a breakdown part, which is something that Biohazard does like perfectly throughout their whole set in like almost every song. We just got to do it in one song, and it kind of built an interaction with the fans.
That's
And I was like,
awesome.
So we were taking notes,
Okay, and then the last one. What surprised you most about touring with a famous band, Biohazard?
God, surprised me was I want to say That's a weird one. Surprised
Like
me.
the level of professionalism surprised you, the meticulousness of being so doing everything so smooth.
I gotta say, like, these guys look and act on stage like they're 20 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like Bobby's just this amazing guitar player. Billy's amazing. These guys are just shredders. And Billy runs around like an athlete and just goes from side to side, and I keeps it up every show and still does not miss a note. I want to say, like, Billy does not miss a note on the guitar. And I'm like, unless he does and we don't catch it. But I'm just like, can I move like that and not miss a note? And
Right.
He's just so rehearsed. And then Bobby as well, just his solos and doing these spins like in one spot. And like even my bass player's like, I want to spin like that, and they've been doing it so long and they move like they're, teenagers. I mean, it's just insane. The energy is just phenomenal.
And is that from jiu-jitsu, you think? Like just from working out and just eating right and keeping yourself, in shape?
I think that, and they've just been doing it so long that they know how to do that and can at least, do that every time, live. They've been doing it so long.
Well, that's dope. I want to say, man, I'm so happy for you guys that you had such a life-changing experience. I mean, humbly from my heart, that you actually made it. You did it. You went on this huge tour. You rocked it. You learned a lot. You came back. You can see the great energy in your face. You see, like, the happiness. I mean, it's great, man. I mean, I'm just so happy for you guys, man. Really. So we're getting kind of near the end of the show. Is there anyone that you want to shout out? Is there anyone you want to say hi to?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks again to all the bands that we got to tour with Biohazard, and Billy for teaching me jiu-jitsu all the time, Gar for rolling with me from Sworn Enemy, and all the Sworn Enemy guys, just so professional, but all the Biohazard guys, man, you guys just made this tour so amazing for us. And they gave us so much respect and props to Striking13, giving us shout-outs every night and getting the fans to be into us as well. So that humbleness and just helping us. And then also shout out to my boy Neil, and Cutthroat is on tour with Violence right now. So I'd like to throw a shout out. That's why I wore the shirt too. Please go support their tour in Europe. They're currently on a full run right now. And so, yeah.
Well, that's dope, man. Well, Cary, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for being on Dead Mike Society, man.
If you've got a voice, then pull up a seat. Real talk drops with every beat. No echo chamber, no disguise. Welcome to the Dead Mike Society.